All right, on today's episode, we're going to be watching the University of Miami in their playoff game versus Ohio State, watching University of Miami's explosive runs. All right, anything over 10 yards, I'm going to categorize as an explosive run, moves the sticks, and it's huge for the offense's momentum. Let's go ahead and roll the tape. We got a few different clips here from throughout the game. First one's in the first quarter. Quarterback's changing the play call at the line of scrimmage. Getting a nice gain on a play that ends up cutting backside. All right, one thing you're going to notice over and over again with the University of Miami film is their wide receivers' willingness to join the blocking scheme. All right, so we'll see it. We'll highlight it as we see it. Okay. Ohio State shifts down into like a jam front, bear front, 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. All right, they change the play. Notice the split by the tight end, right? You know, he's a few yards away from the tackle, widening out number 8, this outside linebacker defensive end type. All right. From the pistol, kind of looks like a wide zone play, variation of wide zone. All right. Because of the defensive front that they're in right now, you know, with this jam front, where they can essentially man it everywhere, right? Like reach here, man here on the backside. Now you got one-on-one with your tight end, number 8, okay? And then they're gonna double team this defensive tackle, defensive end body right here, up to number 0, right here in the middle, okay? And you can see where they're trying to get this ball to hit is right here in this C gap. All right, you can see by the way that they line that tight end and how they're treating these double teams. It's good play design by them, and it worked out here for a nice gain. Okay, let's roll the tape. Okay, so a lot we can clean up here on that play side. First, let's start with the tight end over here on the left. All right, I would love to see him go close the distance more. Right, see his footwork initially is just kind of pitter-patter. He's actually going backwards a little bit with his footwork. Okay, see that first step is him just going back, and he ends up being so far inside out, he ends up getting foot traffic with the tackle, right? Go threaten his leverage a little bit more, make him have to move laterally rather than just being able to turn this into a straight power situation, right? Especially being a little bit maybe undersized, this guy may be, okay? Go close the distance with your feet, threaten his leverage a little bit more, force him to move laterally rather than everything being so vertical, okay? Now left guard, left tackle, they got that combination on the play side to number 0, all right? So as that left tackle, understand my landmark based upon where this linebacker is, and knowing that he's probably gonna move a little bit this way with the path of the back, right? I can be real vertical out of my stance, hoping to pop up the shoulder of this defensive end on my way to climb up to the linebacker, who will probably be about right here by the time you get off to him, right? Now the left guard's got to do a good job of getting his helmet across, right? And so that's why that left tackle needs to pop him up a little bit, pop that shoulder. I'd like to see him use his right shoulder in this case into the chest of this defensive tackle, allowing that guard to come over and reach him, right? Okay, let's see. How this works. See how the left tackle is kind of working around the block. Everything is so lateral, right? He's not really giving the guard much help. Yeah, the guard's able to reach it, but that's more so to do with the defensive lineman, how he plays it, than the tackle setting him up for success, right? There's so much he's working around. He could go so much more vertical and get a better block on this linebacker, and he'd also avoid some foot traffic with that tight end in that case then too, right? So, yeah, they get them blocked. It could be cleaner though, all right? Now let's look at the center, all right? He's got a solo block on a 0 technique. It's actually kind of challenging when you're trying to reach him because of how much he can move, right? There's so many options for him where he can play. He can play right through, you can play to the left, play to the right, right? Biggest thing is this for the centers, can't approach with your head down like that, right? You have to be able to see what you're going to hit. He's very much over his toes. See that position he's in right there? Doesn't have his feet underneath him, not in very good control. So I'd love to see him just, instead of taking a bunch of little steps off the line of scrimmage, see how he's taking a couple steps with his left foot and then moving his right? Just choose that near shoulder to work through and just fire off onto this shoulder. Right now, if he plays backside, he goes that way, he can use his right hand and just wheel on him, right? It's not that big of a deal. But what you're protecting yourself from if he plays this way, right? Or he plays right down into, now you need to be on that angle to win this block, right? So keeping your eyes up first, having our feet, and just choosing a better angle to begin with, I think would help him a lot. All right, good job on the backside by the right guard and right tackle. Relatively easy for them. They got backside cutoff. Then the ball ends up going behind them. On these blocks, sometimes it feels like this is easy or not a big part of the play, but you know, as you can see here, that ball ends up going off the backside. So they need to keep working and keep moving their feet, keep their hands attached as best they can. It's not like a gap hinge on the backside of power because there is such a big threat in these zone schemes for that ball to go backside, right? So you can't take it off on the backside. They did a pretty good job here. Although the blocking wasn't perfect, technique wasn't perfect, fundamentals can be improved, right? Everyone gets on their guy. Running back's able to break one tackle, and it's a big explosive game. Good, so now we're in the third quarter. Okay, again, a lot of stuff is being run out of 11 personnel for Miami, right? They're not using a fullback a lot, but they're getting to some of these fullback-esque runs or runs that you typically see out of 21 personnel or 12 personnel by bringing in wide receivers. Right? Their wide receivers' willingness to block allowed them to get to a lot of really cool scheme. Okay, so as you can see here, right, going against this front, a little bit different than what we saw in that last play. Right, now it's like kind of more like a true under front or 25 front, right, where you have a one technique. Okay, you have your 5, you have a 3 on the backside, a 5 on the backside. Now you have your Sam linebacker walked up onto the ball, right? So they're still creating a 5-man front. It's just a different look at it, different spacing, a little bit different responsibilities when it comes to the defense, but still 5-man front, okay? So let's go ahead and watch this one. Brings the wide receiver in to insert through the C gap, right in between the left tackle and the tight end there, right? This is like a duo scheme, okay? Nickel duo. They're doing it a little bit, unique in a sense of they're just going man on man on the play side, right? They're just blocking here, blocking out here. Okay, now they're going to treat this like a ace combination inside. Boom, center, left guard working up to number 0. And then we got man on the backside, right? We're going to take care of number 18 here with this wide receiver coming in and entering through the C gap. Now you can see just by the alignment of this defense how that may cause some problems, right? Look at how that line or the defense end is already in that C gap. So unless he gets like a crossface going to the B gap, right, there's going to be a lot of traffic there for that wide receiver to enter. Good, so let's roll the tape. Good, and you can see that wide receiver come in and gets caught up kind of in that C gap area, right? Just like we talked about. The tight end can do a better job on the left side here, okay, of not getting knocked back, right? Go close the distance, attack him with your feet and keep running your feet. You need this C gap to be this wide for this wide receiver to get through, right? So you need a really good get off, low pads, play with tight hands, and just keep moving those feet. Don't allow him to get underneath you and knock you back into the path of that insert by the wide receiver, okay? Now the left tackle, sometimes you expect this crossface with a linebacker on the ball, especially with the location of this guy right here. You could expect some of this movement, which it looks like he expected that. Didn't happen here, but I like the idea of stepping with that right foot first, the inside foot, to protect yourself from that, right? Don't just step right at him, which he does. I just think that right step should be more vertical rather than lateral, so he's not just turning on the block. Good. Now the center, okay, center, left guard, like we talked about, we have a combination of number 0, but what the center does really good is he feels those one technique, just knows play away, right? And so now he transitions from this being like an ace into almost like an A backside zone combo, right? The defensive tackle doesn't play all the way to the A gap on the backside, so there's not much for him to hit, but then he's able to climb up and get on the number 0, their linebacker, and look where the ball goes, right? Pretty good stuff. Good awareness there by the center, right? So let's talk about that a little bit more, okay? So he's thinking right now, oh, let's change that. So he's thinking right now they got a double team. These two guys are going to combo here, up to here. Oftentimes we call that an ace, right? But what he feels, and I don't know if this is pre-snap or post-snap, but he feels this guy work away this way, which often means now this guy's playing to that A gap, okay? So he transitioned from an ace to now trying to join with the right guard, get into an A situation, still working up to number 0, all right? So heads up play by this center right here. Good, and that ball goes right there. Another big gain for Miami. All right, backside guard, I love how square he is off the ball, right? The right guard here, okay? Come off the ball square. Okay, he can play with a little bit better pad level, but he's getting his hands latched on, it looks like, doing a good job. Continuing to move his feet. He's get that inside move, and he's still able to stay on the ball, or on the block. Really good job, okay? Watch the right tackle. Got to stay real inside out on the backside of this, right? Go attack the inside shoulder. Keep moving your feet, right? If you feel 97 here, see how he's working that to extension? He's getting him here. The right tackle's got to get his hand off of him somehow, right? Don't allow him to create the space. You are creating the space as an offensive lineman. You're using your length to create that space. Don't allow him to do that to you, but good job staying on the block nonetheless by the right tackle, all right? So across the board, from tight end to right tackle in this case, plus the wide receiver, they get the job done. They block who they're supposed to block. They get to their guy. We can clean up technique and fundamentals, right? And continue to improve our technique on these. So another cool scheme by Miami. Again, running these kind of like nickel duo schemes, right? Nickel runs that are typically run out of 21 personnel, 12 personnel, 13 personnel. They're using these wide receivers to come and insert into the box to get to do the job of one of those bigger bodies typically. All right, so here's another run. This is kind of like a wide zone-esque play, but they are using an insert, right? So it's very similar to that play we just saw. Quarterback's moving the running back over into the gun, all right? Good, so they're bringing in wide receiver from the outside to take care of this guy right here, right? So tight end is going to block out. He's going to arc out, I believe. Boom. All right. Now they're working to this linebacker from the center left guard. Boom. Okay, and then backside, you can either go man, or you can make this an element that the backside tackle can watch, and he'll either block man here, or if he flows over the top, okay, come off of that and go block him, leaving only one on the backside unblocked. Everybody on the play side should be blocked if we're doing this right. All right. Let's watch this happen. Really good job, okay? Really good job by the center and the left guard here, right? Like we said, they're working this single. It's kind of like mid-zone, path of the back, kind of wide zone, mid-zone. But really good job here by the center, getting his helmet to that play side right now. Okay, look how quick he gets his helmet across the defensive tackle. Great job, and that's where the ball ends up going. Okay, really good job here by the left guard, boom, knocking it over, staying square and getting up onto the linebacker. Man, let's make sure we highlight these two. This is big time stuff right here. These two guys, okay, they got a combination where they're working this defensive tackle right here to this linebacker, right? So the offensive guard does a great job of going through his outside shoulder, allowing the center to come over and take him over. And then you're going to see when the left guard climbs, he does a great job of staying vertical, staying square, and getting that linebacker target. All right, great job here by Miami on this single block. Let's watch this again. Boom. Love that by the left tackle. Or the left guard, I should say. Watch the left guard knock it over. Boom. And stay square. Great job there by 78. Okay, at left guard or left tackle, tight end, we've got like a fan block. Sometimes it's called, or out block. Left tackle can go attack it a little bit more, right? Go attack it with your feet a little bit more. He is a very, very tall offensive lineman. Right, so it's going to be hard to get your pads lower than the defenders often for him, but he's got to close the distance with his feet, and be more explosive with his hands, right? Be more explosive. Now what he does a good job is once he makes contact, he continues to move his feet, creating that running lane, and you can see that's where the ball ends up going. Again, good job by the tight end on the left, right? He is like fanning out to this guy who the wide receiver is now bringing closer to the box, okay? Good job by him of attacking with tight hands, keeping his hands on him, and just not allowing to get knocked back at all, right? And then great job here by the number 10, the wide receiver coming in from the outside, right? Another C-gap type insert, gets on his guy, and he ends up cracking that linebacker, and the ball goes right off of that. Great job by number 10, right? So much of our run game can be, either be an advantage or be a disadvantage for our wide receivers, right? If our wide receivers are willing to block, if our wide receivers are willing to be in the run game, the run scheme, the opportunities for play actions, go up drastically. So it's really cool to see here the Miami is buying into that. Okay, and then another run. Okay, another wide zone-esque run. With a wide receiver cracking down, push crack situation, ball goes right there. All right. Cool, so it's another look at that like jam, bear front, kind of creating a lot of guys on the line of scrimmage. We got 5 guys plus a mugged up guy on the backside. Running like a form of wide zone, okay? So tight end is going to be solo here on him, right? We're going to combo right guard, right tackle, all right, up to number 0. Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see how this tackle handles this. Now on the backside, right, there's several ways you can handle it. Because there's no like linebacker in the box here, right? Doesn't make much sense to do like a gang where like everybody's on the backside is full zone, okay? Which is typically a way you can handle it, but with no linebacker in the box, I would say go solo here, and then still put this into like a B, right? Understanding that somebody's going to play over the top. Somebody's going to have to fill in to be that backside box element, right? And then leave this backside guy for the tight end. That way you're only leaving one guy unblocked, right? And it would hopefully be this guy furthest away, depending on who folds into the box in this case. Or to the second level, I should say. All right, let's watch how they do it. Yeah, see how the left guard, he doesn't really help anybody, not able to block anybody really too much. I would love to see him just like go a little bit more vertical and be there to be that wall defender kind of right there on that hash, all right? Like work up here, and now anything that's coming this direction, he'll be there to be that wall defender on the backside, all right? Pretty good job here by the tackle getting the guy cut off. right. Let's see what's going on here. All right. Good. So let's watch the play side right here, the right tackle. Okay, so the right tackle to me is a little bit too inside, right? I understand where this ball's trying to go. It appears to be a C gap run, a D gap run, right? So his angle needs to be off the ball, understanding that boom, and then it's going to have to be on this sort of angle to go get him, right? If he just goes vertical, he's going to have to block him out, which ends up happening here, which is not the end of the world, but he could be a little bit better. His feet get crossed over, right? Just take a forward step with that right foot, left foot goes vertical, right? Instead of crossing over, see that big crossover right there? Okay, that makes it hard to readjust. Now he's athletic and big and strong, so he's able to still get on his guy. Maybe at the next level, he'll have to clean this up a little bit so that, you know, he's playing against guys a little bit quicker, a little bit smarter, react a little bit faster. Okay, he's able to get there still. All right, good job by right guard, 73. Getting his helmet across right now, getting the guy reached. Pretty good job by the center too, right? Look at the center on that reach block on the 0, gets his helmet where it needs to be, stays there, keeps working. Good, good. And then again, this play, we can't not talk about the impact of the wide receiver. Okay, look where that ball ends up going. Right, that ball ends up going right off of that wide receiver's block. Okay, number 10 right here. That's where the ball ends up going. All right, really good job there. All right, so that was Miami's offense, their explosive runs in the Cotton Bowl versus Ohio State. They had 4 runs of over 10 yards or more, right? And when you can get those runs, if you watch that game, they don't just happen by having a 10-yard run here, 10-yard run there. It's 2-yard run, 3-yard run, 4-yard run, 2-yard run. All of a sudden it's a 12-yard run, and then it's a 19-yard run, and maybe it's a 7-yard run. It keeps on. You just keep on staying after it throughout the whole game, and you can wear out a team like that. You have a good chance of winning. All right, so appreciate you guys paying attention and following along. Until next time, thank you.